My name is James Boggs, and this is my presentation on Huntington's disease. Okay, so first I'm going to talk about the history of Huntington's disease. It's most likely been around for thousands of years, and it was first recognized and written about in the Middle Ages. They just described the symptoms and things of that nature. But it was first described by George Huntington in 1872. So this was before Mendelian inheritance was discovered. So he was just able to recognize the patterns of inheritance and the rate of transmission way back then, and kind of talk about that a little bit. Okay, so Huntington's disease is a genetic neurodegenerative disorder, and it is eventually fatal. And it mainly causes problems with cognition and problems with motor function. So, Huntington's disease comes from a defect found on the number 4 chromosome. It is inherited in an autosomal dominant pattern, which means that one copy in each gene is enough to cause the disorder. There's a very small chance it could be caused just by a mutation in between generations, but mainly it's passed on from parent to child. The mutation is found on a chromosome that is not a sex-linked chromosome, so the gender has nothing to do with the rate of inheritance, and it will be inherited by both male and female offspring equally. And the Huntington gene is a dominant allele, so it functions in the normal way that a dominant allele would. Okay, so Huntington's disease can express itself as early as the age of 2 or as late as the age of 80, although that's very uncommon. Most people who are affected usually start seeing symptoms between the ages of 30 and 50. The typical symptoms of Huntington's disease is uncontrolled movements of the arms, legs, head, face, and torso. It's not uncommon for them to suffer from OCD. They typically have a decline in thinking and reasoning skills. This includes memory and cognitive ability. And sometimes even there's alterations in their mood. So like lots of spurts of anger, sadness, or stuff like that. Okay, so we've known about Huntington's disease for over 150 years. However, at this point, there is still no cure for the disease, and treatment is very, very limited as well. There are certain medications that can help to keep symptoms under control. However, there's no kind of medication that can stop or reverse the process that goes on in Huntington's disease. And anybody who is affected by the disease will eventually, spiral into worse and worse symptoms and die eventually. But yeah, certain medications can help with the symptoms, and also exercise has been shown to help reduce the symptoms and slow the process down. Okay, so Huntington's disease affects about 1 in every 10,000 people, and it is a gene that is hereditary, so people can look up and see, if they have anybody in their family that is affected by the disease. So it's not completely at random, at least not most of the time. So 30,000 people in the United States alone have Huntington's disease, and over 200,000 people in the United States carry the gene or are at risk of developing it. For whatever reason, maybe they have better chance of not, randomly mutating the disorder in the number 4 chromosome, but people in China and Japan have a lot lower of a rate of Huntington's disease. Okay, this was my presentation on Huntington's disease. Here's my works cited page, and thank you for watching.